She wanted my permission to sleep with her coworker. I gave her divorce papers instead. Now she won't stop calling. Watch till the end. Subscribe to the channel and let me know where you're watching from in the comments. I never thought I would be sitting alone in my empty house at 2 a.m., staring at my phone as it vibrated with increasingly desperate texts from the woman who swore to love me forever. The same woman who just 3 weeks ago told me with a straight face that our 7-year marriage needed to be opened up so she could explore her desires with other men. The same woman who screamed and threw dishes at me when I refused. The same woman who is now begging to come home. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Daniel. I am 34 years old and have been married to Melissa for 7 years. We met in college, dated for 3 years, and got married in a beautiful ceremony surrounded by friends and family. Everyone said we were perfect together. I believed them. I thought we had everything figured out. Melissa was always the more outgoing one between us. She loved parties, had a wide circle of friends, and could talk to anyone about anything. I admired that about her. I was more reserved, focused on my career in software development, and preferred smaller gatherings. We balanced each other out, or so I thought. The first 6 years of our marriage were what I would call normal. We had our ups and downs, disagreements about finances, occasional arguments about whose turn it was to do the dishes, but nothing major. We bought a house together 3 years ago, a beautiful 3-bedroom home in a nice neighborhood. We talked about having kids soon, maybe starting to try in the next year or so. Everything seemed on track. Then Melissa got a new job at a marketing firm last year. She was excited about the opportunity, and I was happy for her. The pay was better, the work more interesting, and she seemed energized by the challenge. She started going out more with her new coworkers, networking events, and happy hours. I encouraged it, wanting her to succeed and make connections in her new role. I noticed small changes at first. She was more distant, always on her phone, and less interested in our usual date nights. When I would ask about her day, her answers became vague and short. I attributed it to stress from the new job and gave her space. Then came that Thursday night 3 weeks ago. I remember it clearly because it was our anniversary. 7 years. I had made reservations at our favorite restaurant, bought her a bracelet she had been eyeing, and was looking forward to a special evening together. Maybe reconnect a bit after the distance I had been feeling. She came home late, looking flustered. I was dressed and ready to go, but she said we needed to talk. Those words that strike fear into any marriage. We sat down at our kitchen table, the one we had picked out together at an antique store, and she looked me straight in the eyes. "Daniel, I need to tell you something," she said, her voice steady but her fingers fidgeting with her wedding ring. "I have been doing a lot of thinking about us, about me, about what I want from life." I felt a chill run down my spine but stayed silent, waiting for her to continue. "I love you, I really do, but I feel like I am missing out on experiences. I think we need to consider opening our marriage." I stared at her, not comprehending at first. "Opening our marriage, what do you mean?" "You know, seeing other people, exploring connections with others while still being married to each other. It is becoming more common now. A lot of couples are doing it." My mind was reeling. This was not a conversation I ever expected to have, especially not on our anniversary. "Are you saying you want to sleep with other men?" she sighed, as if I was being deliberately obtuse. "It is not just about sex, Daniel. It is about connections, experiences, freedom to explore without the constraints of traditional monogamy." "Where is this coming from?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "Are you unhappy with me, with our sex life?" "It is not about being unhappy with you," she said, reaching for my hand across the table. I pulled back. "I love you, I just think we can have more, both of us." "Both of us." "So you are suggesting I also see other women?" "If you want to," she shrugged. "That is the point of an open marriage. We would still be primary partners, still committed to each other, just with the freedom to explore." I sat there in stunned silence for what felt like an eternity. My mind was racing with questions. Had she already cheated? Was there someone specific she wanted to be with? Why now after 7 years? "Is there someone else already?" I finally asked, dreading the answer. She hesitated, and in that moment of hesitation I knew. "There is someone I have feelings for," she admitted. His name is Jason. He works in my department, but nothing has happened, she quickly added. I would never cheat on you. That is why I am bringing this up. I want to be honest. Honest. The word felt like a slap in the face. So you have feelings for this Jason, and your solution is not to distance yourself from him or work on our marriage, but to get my permission to sleep with him. You are oversimplifying it, she said, frustration creeping into her voice. This is not just about Jason. This is about me realizing that monogamy might not be the right fit for me, for us. For us. Did you ever once consider that I might not want to share my wife? That I took our vows seriously? My voice was rising now, anger replacing shock. People evolve, Daniel. What we want at 25 is not necessarily what we want at 33. I am trying to be mature about this to find a solution that lets us both be happy. A solution that lets you have your cake and eat it too, I said bitterly. The security of a husband and the excitement of a boyfriend. That is not fair, she said. I am not asking to leave you, I am asking for us to grow together, to expand our definition of what our relationship can be. I stood up, unable to sit across from her anymore. The answer is no, Melissa. Absolutely not. I did not sign up for an open marriage. I signed up for a partnership, a commitment between two people who choose each other exclusively. If that is not what you want anymore, then maybe we need to rethink everything. Her face changed then from calm rationality to something darker. You are not even willing to consider it, to talk about it. You are just shutting me down without any discussion. What is there to discuss? You want to sleep with your coworker with my blessing. I am not giving it. End of discussion. It is not that simple. She shouted, standing up too. You are being closed-minded and controlling. This is about my happiness too, not just yours. Your happiness at my expense, I shot back. How exactly would watching my wife date other men make me happy? Other couples make it work, she insisted. There are books, therapists who specialize in open relationships. We could talk to someone, figure out boundaries that work for both of us. I laughed, a hollow sound that reflected the emptiness I was feeling inside. Boundaries? You want to talk about boundaries while you are telling me you have feelings for another man, while you are asking me to dismantle the very foundation of our marriage. The argument escalated from there. She accused me of being possessive, traditional, unwilling to evolve. I accused her of being selfish, disrespectful of our vows, and probably already cheating. Words were said that cannot be unsaid. At one point, she grabbed a plate from the counter and threw it against the wall, shattering it into pieces that felt like a metaphor for what was happening to our marriage. If you cannot even consider this, then you do not really love me, she screamed. You just want to own me, control me. Something inside me snapped at those words. The hurt was too deep, the betrayal too raw. If this is what you think love is, then maybe I do not love you, I said, my voice deadly calm, and maybe you should leave. Her face crumpled in shock. What? You heard me. If an open marriage is what you need to be happy, then go be happy, but not with me, not in this house. I want you out. You cannot be serious, she said, her anger giving way to disbelief. You are kicking me out because I was honest about my feelings, because I wanted to have an adult conversation about our relationship. I am kicking you out because you have made it clear that I am not enough for you, I said. And I deserve better than to be someone's backup plan, someone's safety net while they go explore connections elsewhere. That is not what this is, she protested. I love you, I want to be with you, I am just asking for some freedom. Freedom to do what exactly? To date your coworker, to sleep with other men. That is not marriage, Melissa, at least not the marriage I agreed to. She stared at me, tears welling in her eyes. You are really going to throw away 7 years over this, without even trying to understand? I understand perfectly, I said. And I am not the one throwing anything away. You did that the moment you decided our vows were optional, that I was not enough for you. The next hour was a blur of tears, accusations, and desperate attempts on her part to make me reconsider, but my mind was made up. The trust was broken. The foundation of our relationship had crumbled beneath my feet, and I could not see a way forward together. Finally, she packed an overnight bag, still in disbelief that I was serious. I will go to Sarah's for tonight, she said, referring to her best friend. But this conversation is not over. You need time to process, to think about this rationally instead of emotionally. I did not respond, just watched as she grabbed her keys and phone. "This is not like you, Daniel," she said at the door. "You have always been reasonable, willing to talk things through. Why are you being so extreme about this?" "Because some things are not up for negotiation," I replied. "My self-respect is one of them." And then she was gone, the door closing behind her with a finality that echoed through our suddenly empty home. I sat down on the couch, still dressed for the anniversary dinner we never made it to, and let the full weight of what had just happened crash over me. The next day, I called a locksmith and changed the locks. I knew it was a drastic step, possibly not even legal since it was her house too, but I needed the physical boundary. I needed to know she could not just walk back in as if nothing had happened. She called repeatedly that day, her messages evolving from angry, "I cannot believe you changed the locks. This is my house too," to pleading, "Please just talk to me. We can work this out. I made a mistake bringing it up like that." I did not answer. I needed time to think, to process the bombshell she had dropped on our marriage. I called in sick to work and spent the day in a daze, alternating between numbness and crushing pain. On the third day, she showed up with Sarah in tow, pounding on the door and demanding to be let in. I watched through the peephole as she grew increasingly agitated, threatening to call the police, to sue me, to tell everyone what a controlling monster I was. I finally opened the door, but only to give her a letter from my lawyer. Yes, I had already contacted one. The letter outlined that I was initiating divorce proceedings on the grounds of irreconcilable differences, and that we would need to work out the division of assets. It also stated that until that was resolved, we would both retain ownership of the house, but that I would be residing in it and she should make other living arrangements. The look on her face when she read that letter is something I will never forget. Pure shock, followed by devastation, followed by a rage that made her almost unrecognizable to me. "You cannot be serious," she hissed. "Divorce." Over a conversation, I did not even do anything. "You did enough," I said quietly. "You made it clear what you want, and it is not me, not just me anyway. I am simply acknowledging that reality and acting accordingly." "This is insane," Sarah interjected. "Melissa told me what happened, and you are completely overreacting. She just wanted to talk about possibilities, to be honest about her feelings. Throwing away your marriage over this is crazy." I looked at Sarah, the friend who had been in our lives since college, who had been a bridesmaid at our wedding. "Did she tell you about Jason? The coworker she has feelings for, the real reason behind this sudden interest in opening up our relationship?" Sarah's slight hesitation told me everything I needed to know. Melissa had not been fully honest, even with her best friend. "It is not like that," Melissa insisted. "Jason is just a catalyst for me realizing what I really want, what I need. This is about me, not him specifically." "Well, now you are free to pursue what you need," I said, "without the inconvenience of a husband who expected fidelity." More shouting followed, more accusations, more tears, but I held firm. I had spent 2 days thinking about nothing else, and I knew I could never go back to the way things were. The trust was broken beyond repair. The image I had of my wife, of our future together, had been shattered. Eventually they left, Melissa promising that this was far from over, that I would regret treating her this way. I closed the door and leaned against it, wondering if she was right. Would I regret this? Was I throwing away something salvageable over wounded pride? But deep down, I knew it was more than pride. It was about fundamental values, about what marriage meant to me, about the kind of relationship I wanted. And it was not one where my wife had romantic feelings for other men and wanted my blessing to act on them. The next 2 weeks were a roller coaster. Melissa alternated between threatening messages about lawyers and how much she would take me for in the divorce, to heartfelt pleas about how much she loved me and how we could work through this with counseling. I maintained my distance, responding only through my lawyer when necessary. I learned from mutual friends that she was staying with Sarah, but was looking for an apartment. I also learned, though no one said it directly, that she had indeed gotten closer to Jason in my absence. That confirmed everything I needed to know about her real motivations. I threw myself into work, grateful for the distraction. My boss was understanding when I briefly explained that I was going through a separation, and he allowed me to work remotely some days when I could not face the office environment and the inevitable questions. Our friends were divided. Some thought I was being unreasonable, that marriages hit rough patches and need work, not abandonment. Others, particularly my close friends who knew me well, understood why this particular issue was a deal-breaker for me. A few admitted that they had suspected something was going on with Melissa and her new job, new friends, new priorities. They had seen the signs I had been too trusting to notice. And then, exactly 3 weeks after that fateful conversation, everything changed again. It was late past midnight when my phone started buzzing repeatedly, texts from Melissa, dozens of them, coming in rapid succession. "Daniel, please answer, I need to talk to you. I made a terrible mistake, please just hear me out. What I did was unforgivable, but please give me a chance to explain." And then the one that made my blood run cold. It was not worth it. None of it was worth losing you. I knew immediately what that meant. She had slept with him. Jason, the coworker, the catalyst, the man she had feelings for but nothing had happened with. Something had definitely happened now. My first instinct was to ignore the messages, to continue the wall of silence I had built. But curiosity got the better of me. Or maybe it was some masochistic need to hear the confirmation of what I had suspected all along. I texted back one word: explain. My phone rang seconds later. I let it go to voicemail. I was not ready to hear her voice. Another text came through. "Please, Daniel, I need to see you. I need to talk to you in person. I made a horrible mistake and I am falling apart. I need you." The irony was not lost on me. 3 weeks ago, I was not enough for her. Now, after presumably getting what she wanted, she suddenly needed me again. I texted back, "Whatever you need to say it in a text." A long pause, then I slept with Jason. Once, it was a mistake. It was nothing like I imagined it would be. I felt empty and horrible afterward. I realized I threw away everything that matters for a fantasy that was not even real. I love you, Daniel. Only you, I always have. I was confused and stupid, and I will spend the rest of my life making it up to you if you just give me a chance. I stared at the text for a long time, emotions warring inside me. Vindication that I had been right about her motivations. Pain that she had actually gone through with it. Anger that she thought she could just come back after betraying me so completely. And underneath it all, a small, unwelcome ember of love that had not quite been extinguished despite everything. I did not respond. More texts came through. "Please say something. I know I do not deserve forgiveness, but I am begging you, just talk to me. I will do anything. Therapy, counseling, whatever you want. I just want to come home." Home, the word echoed hollowly. This house did not feel like home anymore. Not without the trust and love that had once filled it. I finally replied, "You made your choice 3 weeks ago. You chose him, chose an open marriage, chose everything but me and what we had. Now you have to live with that choice." Her response was immediate. I was wrong, so wrong. I was confused and listening to the wrong people and caught up in some stupid idea of freedom that I did not even really want. What I want is you. What I want is our life together. Please, Daniel, people make mistakes, even terrible ones, but our marriage is worth fighting for. Our marriage ended the moment you asked to sleep with other men, I texted back. Everything since then has just been paperwork. She called again, and again. I turned my phone off, unable to bear the thought of speaking to her, of hearing the tears and desperation in her voice. Because I knew myself too well. Knew that despite the betrayal, despite the pain, a part of me still loved her. A part of me wanted to believe she had made a mistake, that we could somehow find our way back from this. But the rational part of me knew better. She had revealed something fundamental about herself, about what she wanted, about what she was willing to do to get it. Even if she regretted it now, how could I ever trust her again? How could I ever believe that she was truly content with just me? The doubt would always be there, eating away at whatever we tried to rebuild. The next morning, I had 21 missed calls and countless text messages, not just from Melissa, but from her friends, her sister, even her mother. All begging me to talk to her, to give her another chance. Apparently, she had told them everything, laid bare her mistakes and her regrets. I did not know whether to be touched by her honesty or annoyed by her enlistment of others to plead her case. Either way, my resolve remained firm. Some betrayals could not be undone. Some trust, once broken, could never be fully restored. I finally called her that afternoon, if only to stop the barrage of messages and calls from her support network. "Daniel," she answered on the first ring, her voice thick with tears. "Thank you for calling. I was so afraid you would never speak to me again." "I am calling to tell you to stop," I said, keeping my voice as steady as possible. "Stop calling, stop texting, stop having your friends and family reach out. It is over, Melissa. You need to accept that." "Please do not say that," she sobbed. "I know what I did was terrible. I know I hurt you in the worst possible way, but we have 7 years together. 7 years of love and memories and building a life. Does that not count for anything?" "It counted for everything," I said quietly. "That is why it hurts so much. That is why I cannot just forgive and forget." "I am not asking you to forget," she said. "I am asking for a chance to make amends, to rebuild what I broke." People recover from infidelity, Daniel. Couples do it all the time. "This is not just about the fact that you slept with him," I explained, surprising myself with how calm I felt. "It is about the fact that you wanted to. It is about the fact that our entire relationship, our vows, our future together, all of it was not enough for you. You wanted more, needed more. And now you expect me to believe that suddenly I am enough again. Now that your fantasy failed to live up to expectations." "It was never about you not being enough," she insisted. "It was about me being confused, listening to the wrong people, getting caught up in ideas that were not even mine. I let outside influences cloud my judgment, make me question what I really wanted." "And what happens next time some attractive coworker gives you attention? Next time those same influences suggest that monogamy is outdated or constraining, am I supposed to just wait for the other shoe to drop?" Silence on her end, broken only by the sound of her crying. "I loved you, Melissa," I continued, the past tense deliberate and painful. "I would have done anything for you, but I cannot do this. I cannot be with someone who saw our marriage as something disposable, something that could be fundamentally altered to accommodate her desires without any real consideration for mine." "That is not how I saw it," she protested weakly. "I thought we could talk about it, find a compromise." "A compromise?" I laughed bitterly. "What would that have looked like? You sleeping with other men occasionally instead of regularly, me pretending to be okay with it to keep you happy. There is no compromise on fundamental values, Melissa. Either you believe in monogamy or you do not. Either you are satisfied with me alone or you are not." "I am satisfied with you," she insisted. "More than satisfied. What happened with Jason proved that. It was empty and meaningless and made me realize how special what we have is." "Had," I corrected. "What we had." More silence, more tears. "The divorce papers will be ready next week," I said finally. "My lawyer will contact yours. Please respect my decision and stop calling." "I will not give up on us," she said, a new determination in her voice. "I made a terrible mistake, but I will not compound it by walking away from the love of my life without a fight. I will prove to you that I can be trusted again, that I am committed to you and only you." I sighed, exhausted by the conversation, by the whole situation. "Goodbye, Melissa." I hung up, knowing it would not be the end, knowing she would continue to call, to text, to show up at my workplace or send intermediaries to plead her case. Knowing that a part of me, a weak, longing part, might eventually be worn down by her persistence. But for now, my resolve was strong. For now, I could remember the look on her face when she told me she had feelings for another man, when she asked to open our marriage, when she threw a plate at the wall because I would not agree to let her sleep with someone else. For now, the pain was fresh enough to overshadow any lingering love. I looked around our house, the home we had built together, and realized I could not stay here. Too many memories, too much of her in every room. I would sell it once the divorce was finalized, start fresh somewhere else. Build a new life where the ghost of what we had did not linger in every corner. The thought both terrified and excited me. I had not been single in a decade. I had built my entire adult life around Melissa, around our relationship, our future plans. Who was I without her? What did I want for myself, apart from what we had wanted together? These were questions I never expected to be asking at 34, but here I was, marriage crumbling, future uncertain, identity in flux. It was a strange sort of freedom, unwanted but undeniable. My phone buzzed again, another text from Melissa. I did not read it. Instead, I put the phone down and walked out onto our back deck, breathing in the cool evening air. The sky was clear, stars visible despite the city lights. I found myself wondering if somewhere out there was someone who would value what I offered, who would choose me and only me, day after day, without feeling constrained by that choice. Or maybe I would be alone. Maybe this experience had broken something in me, some capacity to trust, to give myself fully to another person. Only time would tell. For now, I was still standing. Still breathing. Still moving forward one painful step at a time. And maybe eventually, those steps would lead me somewhere better than where I had been before. Somewhere with someone who understood that love is not about what you can get, but what you can give. Someone who knew that freedom is not found in having multiple partners, but in choosing one partner multiple times every day for a lifetime. Or maybe that was just the fantasy I needed to believe in to get through this. Either way, I would find out. But not with Melissa. That chapter was closed no matter how many texts or calls tried to reopen it. As I stood there under the stars, I felt something unexpected stir within me, not hope exactly, but possibility. The faint recognition that this ending, painful as it was, might also be a beginning. That sometimes what feels like the worst thing that could happen becomes the catalyst for something better. I took a deep breath, exhaled slowly, and went back inside. My phone had finally stopped buzzing. In the sudden silence, I could hear my own heartbeat, steady and strong despite everything. I was still here, still moving forward. And for tonight, that was enough.